In this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to add a little interactivity to your Articulate Presenter presentation. Now, I have a simple course here that I have created, and it has 3 sections. It has Explain, Complete, and Calculate. Now, I would like for my learners to be able to freely explore the course as they desire, so they can visit any of these areas whenever they would like. To do so, I have created a little navigation menu. So the learner can click Explain, for example, explore this section of the course, and when they click Next, they come back to the main menu. Complete, they explore, they return, calculate, they explore, they return. Now to set this up, we're going to use a combination of PowerPoint's hyperlinks and Articulate Presenter's slide properties. Let's head on over to Presenter and take a look. Now I should note here that I am using the Presenter Practice Start file that is available in the downloads, and we've been building along throughout these Getting Started tutorials. So if you're just joining us, feel free to download the practice files, watch the earlier Getting Started tutorials to build to this point. However, if you're just curious about adding a little interactivity, all you need to do is create a PowerPoint deck, have several slides, and on one particular slide, which is going to serve as your navigation slide, add some elements. They might be images, they might be shapes that are going to serve as your guide for the learner in terms of exploring the various areas of the course. Think of each of these as a menu item that the learner can click on to explore. Now, as we get started here, let's go take a look at the slide deck to show you the layout. I have some introduction slides, then I have my menu or navigation slide, and then finally I have the 3 areas of the course. Now typically your project is probably going to be bigger than mine, but to keep things simple, I wanted each of these slides to represent an area of my course. And you'll notice here on my navigation slide I have 3 images. What I would like the learner to do is click on these images to link to and travel to these areas of the course. Now I'm going to have to establish that connection. To do so, I'm going to use PowerPoint's hyperlink tool. Now I am in PowerPoint 2010, and so I'm going to demonstrate how to do that in 2010. If you're in an earlier version, or if you're in 2013 or later, you'll want to find the hyperlink tool. To do so in 2010, I'm going to select an image, right-click, and then select Hyperlink, or I could go to the Insert tab and select Hyperlink. Now, a great developmental tip here. Always label your slides, because as you can see in the outline view, I have my slides labeled, and this comes in really handy because if I want to hyperlink, and I'm going to hyperlink to a place in this document, having my slide titles labeled is a big help. I can always look at the visuals over here, but it's a good visual indicator to also see the name of the title. So, Explain, this image is going to link to Explain. I click OK. Complete, I'm going to hyperlink to Complete. And Calculate, I'm going to hyperlink to Calculate. And that is all you have to do for step number 1. Now, if you were to publish this out, Articulate Presenter would recognize those links, and when the learner clicks on Explain, they will go to the Explain slide. When they click on Complete, they'll go to Complete, and Calculate, they'll go to Calculate. So that's all you have to do. Step number 1, establish your links using PowerPoint's built-in hyperlink tool. Now, step number 2 is going to revolve around using Articulate Presenter's slide properties. Now, let's go explore slide properties here a little bit first. Slide properties are where we can really dictate on a slide-by-slide basis how this presentation is going to look and function. So you'll notice a number of things here. We have each individual slide has some properties that we can set. So should this slide advance automatically, or does the learner need to click the next button to advance? What presenter is going to be here. So if we have different presenters presenting this presentation, we can create little biographies for each of them and have them present on a slide-by-slide basis. Do we have some musical playlist that we want to have playing on that slide? The previous and next buttons. You see the term branching. We'll come back to this in just a moment because this is what we need to do here for our interactivity example that we're creating. What should happen when the learner clicks the previous button or the next button? So if they select the next button, where here should they go in the presentation? The controls. What controls should be present on this slide? Should there be a previous and next button or no previous and next button? So I can control in the player what buttons are present in terms of the functionality. I can preset that, or I can set that on a slide-by-slide basis. The features here, I can either go with the default player features, the player defaults, or I can have it customized for the slide. That means is that I can choose whether to have a menu present, the resources present, the play and pause button, the glossary, the seek bar, the notes. On a slide-by-slide basis, I can choose which of these items I want to have be there. Now, in terms of what we were doing, let's come back in there. We've got the learner hyperlinking out from the menu slide to these individual areas here. Now what we need to do is say, hey, when you are done with this area, we want you to branch back to the menu slide. So all you have to do is come into this section, select that next button and say, where should they go when they select the next button? Well, we want them to go back to the menu slide. So what you would do, in my case, very simple. I have one slide in each section, so I go to that slide and select next. If you have 5 or 6 slides in a particular section, what you would do is you would go to the last slide in that particular section of the course, click that next button, menu item, and then choose where you want them to go. Okay, so very straightforward. We're hyperlinking out to a particular section of the course, and at the end of that section, we're going to branching in the slide properties and telling the player when the learner clicks the next button, send them back to this particular section of the course, in our case, back to the menu slide. So that's all you have to do here to set that up. So now let's take a look at this here in the published output. So we have our menu slide. Remember, we created a hyperlink from the explain icon or image here out to the explain slide. So if I click on this, I'm out here on the explain slide. And we also then went to slide properties and said when the learner clicks the next button, let's send them back to the menu. Here we are back at the menu. So once again, menu to content here, back out, back in, back out, and back in. So we've got these great little loops taking place here. So that's just a nice, easy way to create a little interactivity to let your learner freely explore your course. So you can open up the navigation for them a little bit and let them explore and learn at their own pace, going from section to section to section. So just that easily, you can use PowerPoint's hyperlink feature in combination with Articulate Presenter slide properties to create some neat interactivity opportunities in your presentation. So really, in this case, it gives the learner the opportunity to explore the course in an open format. So instead of being a straight linear course, you can open up the navigation and give the learner the opportunity to freely explore the content. If you have any questions about using hyperlinking, about creating interactivity, using the slide properties, please join us in the eLearning Heroes community. We're going to be there with thousands of other e-learning professionals, sharing best practices, tips, tricks, answering questions, providing free downloads and templates. So really encourage you to stop on by the forums, ask your questions. We are going to be there to help you out. Take care.